All right. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, everyone? It is Wednesday. It's FOMC day. FOMC. So we're going to hear from Powell later today. Typically, if you've been in the game for a couple of years, you know these days tend to be a little bit slower ahead of the actual FOMC print. We can see some activity here in the first 60 to 90 minutes. So I'll definitely be active, looking for some opportunities. But ideally, we call it an early morning and then come back for the afternoon with the actual rate announcement and the Powell presser when most of the action will be happening. Although past few FOMCs have been a little bit slower, with the exception of that most recent one. Prior to that, we had some pretty slow FOMC days where price would not even leave the current intraday range. So that's one of the main criteria I look for. Is price leaving that intraday range or not? So for this morning, we've got price right up against that prior day high, right? Let's jump into near-term structure. As always, one of the most important things, we have the gap down on Sunday, continues into Monday morning. You have a pretty significant bounce versus that 800 support zone. The opening print pretty much marks the low for the regular session. On Monday, yesterday shows follow through, right? And we start to see a bit of a trend emerging here. And so, what I'm going to be looking at for this morning is how price trades versus that prior day high. Looks like we're going to open right in that area. So we'll see how that prior day high is going to be treated as well as the 21,650 level of interest, which is right up into this area. Now, if price can clear 650 and clear the overnight high, we're going to be looking at 770. That's an upside level of interest. And then it's also Sunday night's open. So above that, you have a gap. That puts you into the 21,860 level of interest. Now, if we see prior day high reject, right, because the backdrop is still neutral. Let's look at the reaction into 550, see if buyers have any interest there. You have that overnight low right through there as well. And then from there, it really opens up down into 21,430, where we had yesterday's range. So that's kind of the game plan this morning. We've got about 1 minute until the open here. 1 minute till the open. NQ so far rejecting prior day high on this retest. We've got VWAP right through there as well. As always, today's a fresh slate. Whatever happened yesterday, good, bad, or indifferent. Today is a new day. Don't carry that baggage with you. Don't carry that emotional baggage. It's a fresh day. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you had a great day, does not matter today. If you had a terrible day, does not matter today. We're just looking for those easy money trades, the easiest money, the easiest money, the easiest, not the hardest play, so that we look like we're the smartest or fluff our ego, not to boost our ego, just the easiest play. There's the open. So we got the open. Again, prior day high, kind of one of the main focus points here. Sellers stepping in right off the open. There's a very, very small gap higher. What's prior day close? Let's take a look. So prior day close is 570 right there. Yeah, notice that 15-minute candle into the bell. It's a good shout, Dom. Let's see, NQ getting into this kind of overnight swing low right here, right through here. Prior day volume point of control right in that area. Overnight gap completely filled at this point. Small overnight gap. All right, testing that prior day volume point of control. We're getting into the 550 level of interest. Wonder if anyone grabbed that VWAP short there ahead of the bell. There's 550 being tested. Timmy, you're in there? Nice, man. Beautiful. Beautiful trade. Wow. Might be a one and done for you. So let's see if buyers actually defend this area. You do have the overnight low just beneath down there at, what is that, 530.5. Here it is. Let me scale this. There you go. 530.5. And then last week's low, I like that as a reference point, 525, pretty much in that same zone. Here comes that overnight low. So no follow through on that 1 minute there at 550. Opening 5 minute bar closes here in about 10 seconds. Quite bearish to start the morning. No undercut there, the overnight low. Right here, back into 550 priority volume point of control. So far, a pretty similar situation to what we saw yesterday. Kind of that cluster of reference points there with a level of interest. You must have opted for the double espresso this morning, huh, Timmy? That's probably what it was, I bet. The triple. Oh, man. Menace. All right, NQ into the low, new low of day. Let's see if we get that undercut of the overnight low here. Can buyers absorb it? Or are we going for 430? TBD. I have no crystal ball. No crystal ball. Just watching price action. There's your little undercut of the overnight low. Bumping into that prior day volume point of control again. Do we have 10 a.m. data? No 10 a.m. print today, FYI. No 10 a.m. So a little consolidation here, a little indecision. We want to see how's this area going to resolve. What's it going to be? Buyers would love to see a break of 567 right here. So that most recent high or low from prior day sesh right in this area as well. Sellers are looking for a lower high right here and then a new low of day. There's your new low of day. Uptick in volume on that new low of day. Really, next up is 430. If we see acceptance down here. Highest volume of the sesh on that 1 minute candle there. So now we wait for 430 unless you're riding shorts. If you have the lower high short from 550, you're just riding. So typical scenario now, I like that bullish shift in structure above this kind of highlighted area where I still have the rectangle on the screen, or that test down into 430. Till then, just chilling. There's that test and reject of overnight low. NASDAQ. How are the other indices looking? ES through the overnight low. We pretty much have everything into the lows. Russell rejected VWAP into the lows. Dow, not quite into the lows, but almost. There's NQ, new low of day. Opening 15-minute bar. Quite bearish, right? That sell bar. and Q back into the overnight low. So buyers finding some interest in that 500 level, probably a psychological level there. That would be no man's land for me personally. Bumping into that overnight low. A reclaim would be significant. Reclaim with acceptance. YM holding VWAP for now. And Q rejects overnight low back into session low. We'll see how this next 15-minute bar shapes up. And Q sitting on the low. See if we get a break. Not quite. Doesn't look like it. Maybe by one tick. Maybe volume. There you go. There's your new low. So a little holding pattern here between 21,500 and the overnight low, which is at 530. You also have last week's low right in there, 525. I like to see price resolve above 530 and ideally above 550. But as of right now, intraday action is a downtrend pretty clearly. So we just stay patient, waiting for that better setup. We have 10 a.m. in 8 minutes. See if 10 a.m. RT gives us anything. Looks better. That definitely looks better. Coming into 550. There's 550. Some sellers there, unsurprisingly. So 500 ends up holding as a psychological level. Noteworthy. Do they rebid at overnight low? Looks like no. So if you get a fresh low of day here, you just have the next lower high within the sequence. 5 minutes till 10 a.m. How's our profile looking? Got a high volume node starting to build. For RTH, you do have that session volume point of control down there at 515. So this is getting more interesting into 10 a.m. here. RTH volume point of control just lifted to 523. 1 minute starting to show us a little bit of barcode. See if 10 a.m. gives us a move. Two till 10, no data. No data that I saw anyway. There's FOMC later today. And some mega cap tech earnings after the close. That should be interesting. Got Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla after the close today. Don't gamble. Do not gamble. All right, here comes 10 a.m., 10 a.m. RT. Pretty slow morning so far. What I'm looking at remains the same. I either want to see some favorable, when I say favorable, I mean bullish market structure kind of above this area, or I'll look at down here. So you get a little blip higher. But look at this 1 minute barcode. Very, very typical pre FOMC action right now, if you ask me. Pre FOMC. So clearly, as that structure shows, a break now of 550 would definitely be significant for this intraday structure. 5-min barcode, yeah. Let's see if we get the break of 550 now. Nope, sellers just reload right there. Looks better. Looks better. Need some acceptance above 550, above prior day volume point of control. If you found an entry, you don't want to see 550 fail. If you have an entry from lower. Man, right back into that structure. Right back into it. Oh yeah, RTY is on a ripper. Small caps flying. A lot of congestion through here. Like I said, want to see price leave this area. I gave it some tries through there, scaled in. Only about plus 25 points on that one. Lighter size. Nothing crazy pre-FOMC. Trying to catch the right side of that structure. Once it's clear, or more clear anyway, that buyers are stepping in. So you end up seeing this big push. Kind of changes the structure a little bit. You got the barcode through there. Try to position through here, right? You want to see this really break. Does not happen. So respect the level at 550. Prior day volume point of control, trail out. Take your 25 points. Take your 25. But the key for me on something like that is to start light. Start light, knowing I may be a little bit early. Might be a little bit early. So now, like I said, I want to see price leave this entire structure before I get involved again. Otherwise, just wait for FOMC. It's kind of the game plan. It's the GP. There's a little push. Back in a 550. See how the structure starts to progress and becomes more clear? So I trade in that initial directional strength. Better be nimble. Better know what you're doing. First 10 minutes of the day. Stay nimble. This starts to build. This starts to build. More clarity through here, right? That's how I perceive it anyway. There's your extended session volume point of control shifting into 550. 21,550. What's up, Dave? Let's see if buyers can break this most recent high right through here. Notice how much easier any long would be after this display of strength right through here versus this left side. Patience is key. Patience is key. Hence the positioning there. Hopefully the concept makes sense. If not, send me a DM in the tank because that's an important one. So NQ up above 550 now. Buyers will be targeting VWAP. Right side of the V. Yes, sir, Dom. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 530. That was a good re-entry. Yep. Trim some into 550. Try and carry the rest. And just rolls over. Very, very typical pre-FOMC action. Cannot say this enough. Not the time to be a gunslinger. NQ coming into the lows. Coming into session low 494. If the low gives out with acceptance, watch for 430 to trade. I would not personally try a spring at the session low simply because there's no reference point there or a level of interest. So no new low of day. Session low holds, value area low holding there, that 21,500 psychological level. We may have kind of a late morning range building out right here. Right back into 550. Yeah, so late morning structure. Late morning structure. It's not late morning, is it? Mid morning. Mid morning, we'll call it. How we doing? Anyone trading? 45 minutes into the sesh. I know Timmy's green. Dez is cash. Yeah, cash is a good call in this. It's FOMC as well. Mish is cash. Rich, small green. 0 for 3. Dang. Patience. Long above 550. I don't see an entry there. Careful chasing. Gotta be careful chasing something like this. With the levels, we want an extension move away, and then the retest. You buy the retest. It's the idea. 10-10 on 30-second. 10-10 on 30-second. Higher low at 10:04. I like the higher low at 10:04. Yeah. I like that entry. I think that's probably the trade Dom was in. That one you have to make sure you're scaling out into 550. But the entry above 550, that's just a little bit of a chase right there. Cause look at the structure. Like if we just kind of break this down, like imagine prices following a line right here, right? It's kind of messy, but use your imagination a little. So if you remove the candlesticks, like we're buying up here, it's just a little bit of a chase. So I understand you have the level there, but ideally, here's kind of how you want it to unfold. Imagine all that is still there. I'll just kind of redraw the rest of this. Okay, boom, and then and then boom, here's your entry right here. So that way you're kind of you're using the level with market structure and you're not chasing. So if you're in, I'm pretty sure you're in trade 30 for 30. Timmy yesterday had a post kind of like this that you should go check out if you missed it. I left some thoughts on it in a comment. It's the exact same idea. Beautiful drawings. Thanks. Thank you. Whipping up sauce. Trying to. Trying to. Some of these are just going to be avoidable. You don't want to trap yourself. This is where that 15-second can really get dicey. You trap yourself into, like, if you see some like little hammer right here, you're thinking, oh, there's my entry, and then you mer- just get walloped. Walloped. And I've been walloped a lot. So start to learn how to avoid the walloping, if you will. Yeah, the blip above that results in an entry is it's dangerous. We got to pay attention to the primary structure at play. Typically the 1 minute's good for that, and then you can just drop down to the 15-second if you really want a very tight entry. But really, stripes should be earned on the 1 minute before you think of like the 30-second or the 15-second as something that you like graduate to. I wouldn't really recommend developing your profitability on such a low time frame. There's just going to be so much noise. And so the way I think about this, just kind of going back to that same example, is like just looking at where price turns here. So you kind of have this going back to the same line drawing. When we look at it like this, like, okay, up here, my thought process is, well, am I buying the actual pullback or am I buying an extension move? And again, if we remove the candles and we just look at the path of price is what I would call this kind of line here. If we just look at the path of price, well, I'm kind of buying the extension, like the higher lows down here. So I want to, this is where I want to be entering down here. Watching the 1 minute for setups, but executing on the 15-second. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I would just be very cautious with the 15-second. Like the strategy should be built on like the 1 or 2 minute. Honestly, it's just going to be so much easier. So NQ is really just settling into that range here, late morning range, mid morning range, right back into the lows. All right, NQ getting into session low. Let's see if the lows actually crack. NQ, new low of day. Yeah, the 15-second will definitely give tighter entries, but here's the thing, if it puts you in a lot of trades too early or a lot of setups that aren't there, then the goal that you're after is not really being accomplished because you're taking way more stops. So you would have been better off just taking more risk on the 1 minute, and it probably still would have been less than all the stops that are being taken on a 15 or 30-second chart, just due to the noise that's there. Yeah, Timmy, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like you can take so many more stops on the 15-second, kind of chasing, not chasing price action, but chasing tighter entries. Whereas it's just gonna those losses are just gonna add up to whatever wider risk you had on maybe the 1 minute or 2 minute or whatever else, whatever chart you're looking at. So a little hammer down here. NQ, this is totally no man's land for me. This is what I was saying earlier. If this does set up the spring, it's not a trade I would take just because it's in no man's land. I don't even have a reference point here. I have nothing. There it is. Spring is actually working. Like I said, no trade for me there. Setup works. No trade for me personally. So at this point, I'll be looking at 430, or for fresh longs, I would want to see pretty much the entirety of this structure being cleared. Like I said, I want for new risks today, I want to be trading outside of this structure. So being that it is FOMC day, I'll probably call it a morning right there. These days are just FOMC day, pre-FOMC action, very easy to get chopped up in action that is just subpar, not really worth the risk in my opinion. So we'll call it. Hopefully you guys still gain some value from this live stream. Lighter day on my end. No, just that one trade. There it is on the screen. So a little 25 points. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Hope you guys had a decent morning. Remember, cash is a position. Nothing wrong with it. And we'll keep it going in the think tank. We'll see what FOMC brings us, what kind of action. Until then, stay patient. Let those A plus setups materialize. Have a good rest of your day, folks. Talk to you later.